You're listening to People Think About It. Delve into the world of relationships, business, and politics with hosts Lamar Clark, Dorshell Clark, and Dominique Hagler on People Think About It, where thought-provoking discussions abound.
Hey, welcome to People Think About It. We're back, and we got our great co-host, Dominique. She's in the house today, and we got Miss Audrey. So we got our crew back in, and today we're going to talk about purpose, passion, and pain. So how do you turn your passion into a business, or how do you turn your pain into joy? So we're going to talk about passion, pain, and purpose. So understanding your purpose. And profits.
I don't know about that part.
So we're gonna talk about, because profits can be, like you say, anybody that's making more than what they're making a zero, they're making a profit.
Oh, that kind of profit. I thought you meant like a profit.
Oh no.
I'm not. I was like,
you
what?
Profit?
No.
Okay,
I have a great intuition though. I wouldn't call myself a prophet or nothing like that.
Prophetess.
Yeah. But that's what they called them. They called them in biblical days. They called them prophets when they had, and they had that thing where they could read people. So you're a prophet. You can look at people and tell them what's going on in their life.
I guess that's everybody then almost, kind of. I feel like you got your intuition, you got discernment. I feel like we could potentially all be prophets in our own little way. It may not be to an extreme, but I didn't know they was talking about money, y'all. So they're talking about profits, like money.
Yeah, like money,
FITs.
dollar bill, y'all.
Dollar bill, y'all.
So we was just having a discussion talking about passion and how you turn your passion into a business. And like they say, when you know your passion, you'll do it, and it doesn't matter whether you get paid for it or not. You'll be consistent with it. And from there, we're going to just talk to Miss Audrey. Has a passion for Good Morning Goodnet. And she's going to tell us a little bit how she got that passion and what drives her every day to get up and do Good Morning Goodnet, whether one person is listening or whether 10,000 people are listening.
I think for me, and I've been doing this so long. When I first started podcasting, it was around 2009. It wasn't an industry like it is right now. And I fell into podcasting via radio. I had 2 radio shows. I was on 2 different stations in Jersey. And I love the format, right? I wasn't getting paid then, but I love being on the radio. I love having people call into my show. I had 2 station managers, and they would play the music. And Jill Scott, one of her songs, Living My Life Like It's Golden, was my theme song for one of my shows. And I just love doing the show. And so I kind of fell into podcasting. And the reason I do what I do is because, for me, it brings me joy. Now, do I get tired sometimes? Yeah. Do I feel like I don't want to get up? Yep. Those are days when I'm just tired. I done stayed up half the night. I done researched half the night. I'm hyper. But then I still find my way back. Even if I miss a day, I find my way back around the next day to do the show. And I know that it's something I'm passionate about because I do it every day. Nobody has to tell me. Now, what I will tell you is that you'll hear people say stuff about, I'm passionate about this. This is what I want to do. And my thing is, if they're not doing it, they're not really passionate about it. They're talking about it, but they're not passionate about it. You don't see them do none of the stuff that goes above and beyond that one little thing they may do. That's not passion. Right. That's imposter.
That's just like when I was coming up, I was a real bad asthmatic. And at 7 years old, I fell into a karate class at the recreation center. And I grew up watching Bruce Lee, the Green Hornet, Bruce Lee. And I was like, that's what I want to do. And I remember going to the recreation center and joining this karate class. And I was a real bad asthmatic. I mean, really bad. And my parents did not know that I was taking karate. I served newspapers, so I took a little money, brought me a karate gi and all that, but I had to hide the karate gi at the teacher's house because I couldn't bring it home. So he would take it and wash it for me and stuff like that. But I had such a passion for this that I kept going and kept going. And when I first started, I was kind of a little guy, and everybody in the class was, you go in there brand new, they knuckling me up and everything, but I had such a passion. I used to make the karate teacher. I found out where he lived at. I used to go to his house and make him teach me stuff. And I became the best student in that karate class. And I went on and on and on and kept. And next thing you know, I was going to tournaments. I was winning trophies 6 feet tall. Was way taller than me. Couldn't even fit into the car. I just kept going and going. I got so good that, like, when you go to a karate tournament, you line up in twos. People wouldn't even want to line up against me because I'm trying to get a trophy in this. So I did that for like 40-something years.
Wow. 40-something
years. Ate, slept. I have 4 brothers and a sister. I used to go home and practice on them.
So let me ask you this, because that's a good segment. So that was your passion, and you did it for 40-something years. When do you stop the passion? Because that's not something you do right now. So when was the time you say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore?
Well, I think that what happens is sometimes you get involved in something and you get to that burnout stage.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to that burnout stage, you still have the passion to want to do it. I mean, if I found a decent karate class right now, I probably would go and do it. You know what I mean? But martial arts now are so tainted and soft. I grew up in the hard knocks of martial arts. So when the program is changed, it makes the dynamics of how you see it change, right? I could not teach young people martial arts the way I learned it. They would have me courtside for abusing kids. You know what I mean? But you get to that stage where, like I said, I got to the point that I started teaching. I had my own karate class, and I got to the burnout stage.
Yeah.
And then as I got older and was becoming an adult, I had to go pay bills and stuff like that. And I just kind of pushed that to the side and said, hey, you know what? I got to take another journey, another pathway. But I still have the desire to want to do. I still like the fight game.
So now what's interesting about what he just said was he said, I had to stop that and go pay bills. What's interesting about that right now is that there are people, that's all they do, and they get paid very well. So I think where we've come to now, like, everything is different, because I've heard people say stuff like, don't be an actress, you're going to be a starving artist, right? Now people are making tons of money on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. Nobody's starving except for the people that's sitting back saying, I don't want to get on TikTok, I don't want to get on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So times have definitely changed. And the things that we thought were, it's just a thing, it's just something I love, can't make any money from it, people are killing the game right now.
Right. And I think that, just like being involved in something, you have to be able to change with the times.
Yeah.
Because if you don't change with the times, you're going to get lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you say, the TikTok. Well, first of all, we had Facebook. Then after Facebook came YouTube. And then the YouTube and then the TikTok. So if you're not willing to make that transition onto either one of these platforms, you're probably going to get lost.
Yeah.
Because you look at somebody on there and you're like, this person ain't no more talented than what I am. But they know how to twerk and use the system to work for them.
That's right.
And I would say that anybody that's out there that has that passion and that drive, you just got to keep going. You got to keep going, and you got to be able to open up to change. Because if you don't open up to change, then you know what? You're going to die out, and you're going to get that burnout.
Dominique and I had this conversation this morning about people saying, they send their representatives and they say, this is what I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to start this kind of business, I'm going to do this kind of thing. And action speaks so much louder than words. Because at the end of the day, when you think about, I'm going to be a writer, what have you written?
Right.
Right. At the end of the day, if that's what you say that you're doing, whoever you're dealing with or whatever the case, should see the fruits of that.
I grew up. I mean, sometimes, I was explaining to a client today, like even with your partner that you choose, even though they might not have the same passion you have, it's like they still got to believe in you because they can be a dream killer as well. You know what I mean? Because if like you say, if you say you're going to be a writer, or you say you're going to be a rapper, or I'm going to write music, whatever you choose to do in life. But like you said, Audrey, only time I see you do it is once a week. And then sometimes I don't even see you do it then.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that's the passion. But then if I become this dream killer, you want to jump down my throat. But you told me this is what you want to do. You know what I mean? So I may be your mate and inspire you. Say, well, I tell you what, let's go find out how much a beat machine costs. I'm going to help you get that beat machine. You know what? You want to write a book? Let's go find some people that know something about books that can help you through your journey. But you can't expect for me to do it all when it's supposed to be your passion.
Right.
But I'm going to be your support system.
Right.
But it's your passion.
It's supposed to be your passion. It's so funny because my husband called out sick 2 days last week, and I'm like, in my mind, I asked him what's wrong, right? Because he never calls out. He said, I'm all right. Okay, that was the first day. Right. So I wake up the next morning, he's still out like, hey, what's wrong? Right? Nothing, I'm all right. But he sends me this picture of a hot dog cart. Now, if you have heard my show, we've had a hot dog cart for since 2018. Right. And it was like, okay, so you send me this. All I said was, that's nice. Because at the end of the day, what am I supposed to say to that? Because the first time you told me this was something you was passionate about, I got excited. I did everything. I did the website. I did the business cards. I did the T-shirts. I did everything. All you had to do was do it. So now it's like, oh, that's nice. I ain't killing your dream, but that's all I got for you. That's nice. I ain't asking no questions. Listen,
like
I ain't asking no questions because you said it was your passion. The first 5 years, I saw no fruits of that labor.
All right.
I saw no fruits.
Because sometimes when you are trying to uplift that person to help them on their journey to their passion, you can find yourself getting discouraged.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because you're like, this is what you want to do, and then you become so involved and so entangled in it that now you starting to get discouraged, and then you're arguing about it, you're fussing about it, and then you're cussing about it. Like, you know, if that's your damn dream, why are you not chasing it?
That's
you know what I mean?
That's right.
And at that point, you just say, you know what, it's yours.
Right.
Whatever you do with it, that's on you.
That's on you.
And I agree with you on this too, Audrey. That when you realize, because you're the one that have to realize that's your passion. But if you say it's your passion, but yet you always talking about the money end of it, that's not your passion.
Not your passion.
No.
If you're doing it just to chase money, it's not your passion.
You're chasing money.
You're chasing money. And it's going to run away from you every time.
Right, because, you know, it's just like I heard T.D. Jakes said, you know, like Beyonce and Jay-Z and them, they got money chasing them. They're not chasing money.
That's right.
When you do something that's your passion, money begin to chase you. You know, people begin to say, "Oh, that's Audrey from Good Morning Gwinnett. Hey, I need for you to do this. I need for you to do that. Can I come be on your show?" And stuff? Now money chasing you instead of you chasing them. Mm-hmm. But if it's your passion and your focus is all about money, that's not your passion.
Not only that, your passion is going to take commitment. And I think that's what some people, they kind of get it twisted a little bit, like they like something and they feel like that's their passion. But passion takes commitment, right? It's more than just liking something. It's like how much work you're willing to put into that thing, how much time you're willing to take, what you're willing to sacrifice. Because all of that, I sacrifice time every day. Right. You know, so you got to be, if you're not sacrificing anything, like for real, you're not giving up anything that's not your passion. That's something that you like doing. And most entrepreneurs
it's
like
a hobby.
It's a hobby. When you decide this is my business, you're getting up, you're doing the articles, you're doing the research, you're reaching out to folks, you're calling folks, you're going out here. There are days where I do not want to leave my house. I don't want to get dressed. I want to throw on the raggedest pair of pants I can throw on and just sit there and read a book. Right? But then on the other side, I got a to-do list over here that say, girl, you got to do these things. Now, in all honesty, there are days when I ain't doing nothing. Right. I'm going to do this show and I ain't doing nothing else. I took a whole week off last month because I was
Franklin said, are you all right?
Well, he wasn't home, so he didn't even know. And I mentioned to Georgia, I said, Georgia, I didn't do one episode this week. She said, are you all right? I was like, nah, I just needed a minute. I felt burnt out. Right? But I've done over 1,000 episodes. Right. So I've earned the right to be burned out.
So we also talked about pain. So does your passion become your pain?
Or does your pain become your passion?
Or do you turn your pain into power? And power take that power to ignite your purpose? Because sometimes you got to go through some pain in order for you to, transfer that over into power. And when you get that strength, you can then move that into your purpose. Because sometimes you don't know it until you've actually dealt with some things. Right. So, yeah.
Because I think that sometimes if you don't feel the pain about your passion, it's probably not your passion.
It's not.
Because, when you look at life and the journey you take for whatever you choose to be your passion, that, you sit back and look at it that everything doesn't just happen. Like, I'm going to do this, that's going to happen. I'm doing it. You're going to have some trials and tribulations. You're going to have some ups and downs. And then you got to find a way to take that pain, like you say, and turn it into power to keep going. Because I got to keep going. You know what I mean? Because this is something I got to see out to the end. You know, and you're the only one that can determine the end.
That's right.
So once you get
you
there,
and God.
right? You and God. Because if you say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, because there's people that do things for a multitude of years thinking it's their passion, and it's really not.
And maybe it was their passion at the beginning, but at some point they decided they wanted to do something different, because like you said before, you got burned out. Like, I'm tired, I've been chasing this thing, and I put in my reps on this, but I'm tired right now. I want to do something else. I want something else that's going to make me excited, because at some point, sometimes your passion it can become boring.
Right.
It's the same thing you've done over and over
Repetitions.
again. The repetition over and over again. And it can become a little bit boring. Like, I want this. And if you're a person like me, I get bored easily. So the fact that I have all these different things going on keeps me excited about life, right? But I get bored easily. So there have been plenty of things I started. And it's like, okay, I've done that. I've accomplished that thing. I won't do that anymore.
So this is the question I throw out there to you. Because, with that entrepreneur spirit that we have, we tend to do that. Our ideas become very creative, and we just idea after idea. But the thing about it is, when do you get to the point that you say enough is enough? And when do you get to the point where you question yourself, say, well, I'm just as smart as that guy. I'm doing just as much as they're doing. Why is it working for them and not working for me?
Well, that's a good question. I got a good answer for you. So, I've been an entrepreneur for 27 years, and after the first 5 years, I was laser focused because I didn't know no better, right? I didn't know what entrepreneurship really was until I actually started doing it. So I ran my first company. I called it my first real company because we raised money, we did all that stuff for the first 5 years. After that first 5 years, when we dissolved the company, I realized, wait a minute, I like this thing. I can do something else. I can start something else. Then I started chasing money. And I was like, just what you said, if I'm so damn smart, why am I still broke? Right? Because that was my thought in my head. Like, I see this one making money now. It was because I wasn't focused. Right? And it took me I had a business coach. His name was Andrew Morrison. And he said to me, Audrey, your website is beautiful. I had just spent like $1,500 on the website. This was before, you can pop off a Wix site. Right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how to develop at that point. I just spent $1,500 on my website. It was purple and green and white. It was beautiful. It had this beautiful logo. It was called Sister Inc. And he said, your website is beautiful. He said, but don't nobody know what you do? I said, what you mean? He's like, it's a beautiful site, but where's your target? And I'm like, I can do. So me, being arrogant and egotistical, I can do whatever I want to do. I can do it all. And for the next 5 years, I struggled. Then I struggled for the next 5 years because I realized I have so many great ideas. I want to launch them all. Plus, I'm chasing money. So I would say out of that 27 years, probably 17 of them was straight struggle. Well, no, I'm gonna say 12 of them because I was all over the place. Right. And so it was only when I came to Georgia that I started to kind of narrow it down, because by that time I was tired. And it was like, okay, you need to pick something. And I still struggle with this. This is like an addiction for me. Like, being an entrepreneur is like having an addiction.
I truly understand it.
It's like, but people that's not entrepreneurs, they don't understand that. So it's like having an addiction. Like, you almost need to go to therapy because God gives you great ideas. They can all make money, but the one thing I've learned is that it's about the focus. Like, every one of them will make money. I don't think I've ever seen a bad idea. I don't know if you remember the Pet Rock. Remember the Pet Rock?
Yeah.
Remember the Pet Rock? You remember that? The Pet Rock. You never
the
heard
Pet
of that,
Rock.
Right?
They took a rock and made it a pet and was selling it online.
Millions of dollars. It's called a Pet Rock. $millions of dollars. When the Brooklyn Bridge got tore down in New York, right? This guy was watching it on the news. He went and got him a piece of the Brooklyn Bridge and chopped it up into little chunks of wood and started selling the original pieces of the Brooklyn Bridge. Millions of dollars. So there are no really bad ideas. There's just a matter of being able to focus and then investing in your marketing. And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't have they may be focused, but they don't want to make the investment into the marketing. And then I could just talk for myself. I launched a newsletter called Gwinnett Morning Spark. And the guy said, one guy, he has a newsletter similar, it's a local newsletter. He's like, all I did was run Facebook ads. Now, I heard him say that, right? Then I watched a bunch of other videos. They all say the same thing. All we did was run Facebook and Twitter ads. I heard them say that. And then I go run a different type of ad. After hearing them say, we make millions, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars with our newsletter, all we did was run Facebook and Twitter ads. I'm gonna go do my thing my way, and then it failed. And I said to my husband, man, that ad sucked, right? I didn't get any subscribers from the ad. Well, I didn't do what the people just said do. I want to do it my way. So when people lay out a plan for us and they've said, this is what I did,
This is how it works.
this is how it works, why not just listen to them? Because our brain don't think like that. It's like, I'm going to do it my way first. I just wasted money not doing their way. They said this is what happens. This is how it works.
Like I think that being an entrepreneur, unless you are an entrepreneur, you may be somebody to say, I want to open up a business. But there's a difference when you have that hunger and desire to want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have sleepless nights. Sometimes you might not even make a dime. But you know, to me, entrepreneurs is almost like gambling. You know, and it's not so much the gambler going to win a bunch of money. It's the rush he get from seeing his idea become, you know, create. I mean, he's come to light. He see that idea come to light. Yeah, you know what? I threw the dice. I had a good throw. I made $11,000, $12,000, or I made $50,000. That's good, but guess what? Why you keep gambling? Because that rush. And like it's almost the same thing with being an entrepreneur. Yeah. That sometimes, you know, you say, all right, well, I'm going to go get this 9 to 5. But your heart won't allow you to work that 9 to 5. You just keep going on and going on.
And you're miserable.
Oh, no, miserable.
You're miserable because that's not something you really want to do. And I can tell you this, most people that work 9 to 5, they really don't understand that part because it's very uncomfortable. Like, you don't have a set paycheck coming in as an entrepreneur. You just don't have it. And so when you talk to people who do 9 to 5, they're like, well, you know, you can do it on the side. You can, but something is going to suffer. And 9 times out of 10 is going to be your dream. And I say this, and I used to be like, yeah, you should get started a business. I realized not everybody's meant to start a business. Like, I realized you can do side hustles, you can do hobbies, but to do what we do is not easy. And I definitely wouldn't tell anybody to quit their job to do this ever, because I did. It was the toughest thing I took a paper route. You know, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm slinging papers. I quit my job. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to quit my job. I would never tell anybody to do that today. You know, but what I will say, if that's something you want to do, make the proper investment in time and money. Make those proper investments in that. If you're not doing that, stop telling people you got a business, because you ain't got no business. You got a hobby. If you're not going to the trainings, you're not doing the networking, you're not learning your industry, you know, you're not doing anything extra outside of that 1 hour you put in, you got a hobby.
You know, it's like I heard the guy Kevin Samuel say this, and it made so much sense, because in society today, you got people that call themselves entrepreneur, or I'm a boss, I'm the boss. But really, most people, or most of us, are high, or not even paid, or even high paid employees. Because when you're a boss, you got people working for you.
Yep, you got a business.
But if your business can't function without you, then you're not a boss.
You're an entrepreneur.
You're an entrepreneur, or you're a high class employee of yourself. Yep. You know, so you got to look at it like that. So a lot of people run around here and call themselves a boss, and you're really not a boss. You know,
you're an entrepreneur who probably do really well, but you're not a boss, because a boss oversees a business, and a business has people up under.
Right, it can function without you being there. That makes you the boss. Right. So what do you got to say, Miss Dominique?
So quiet over there.
We got to get you pumped up here, because you know we ain't seen you or heard from you in a couple of weeks, Dominique. I know you got some things going on. Miss Dominique just had a birthday too, y'all. She just had a birthday. Just got back from the islands. So Miss Dominique,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
She told me, so I'm going to Puerto Rico for my birthday. I was supposed to win for my anniversary this year, but I kind of dragged my feet on it. But she convinced me, like, you gotta go. So I'm going for my birthday. It was funny because Barbara asked me, I thought we were going to Africa. I said, my baby can't get her shots though yet, right? It was something about Sugar Baby shots. It was too many or something. It was something we said.
Oh, yeah, it was too many.
Too many or something.
To go to Africa?
For the baby. Because, you know, you got to take all these shots. I was like, yeah, we can't give all them shots at one time. Like that.
Is that what her doctor said?
No, that's what my mother says.
But you have to get all these shots.
I know. I'm saying, she's saying, is that what the doctor said? No, that's what my mother said.
Right. So when you go to Africa, you got to get a bunch of shots.
So you don't want her to
because they got mosquitoes over there. They got mosquitoes over there sting you and kill you.
See?
Yeah. So
you know, so you got it, or you can come back with some kind of
malaria
disease
and all that stuff.
Yeah, so yeah, you know what I mean.
yeah, considering we don't know what the election is going to look like, it's probably
I got your passport.
I've been had a passport.
We might have to get up out of here in November.
Yeah. But this is not a politics show.
That's not the show.
I mean, so as far as the whole business thing goes, I mean, as far as my purpose, I know my voice is my purpose in every way. Whether it's me acting in a movie, writing a movie, doing the word of the day, I know my voice is my purpose.
Right.
And the drive behind it is just because I've felt like at this young age in which I am, I've been through a lot of things.
What age is that?
Never supposed to ask a lady. And so, you know, because I've been through so many tests, and the way my testimonies are set up at this point in my life, I feel like I have so much to give, right? And I don't care whether I get paid or not for doing it, because I know that every time I sign on Tuesdays and Thursdays, somebody is gonna get touched. Somebody gonna send it to a friend, and they gonna send it to their friend, and somebody gonna see the page, and that's a new follower, and that's, you know. So for me, I'm okay with it. I don't even look at my analytics anymore. When I first started, I was like, oh, I want to see it. And I was like, I don't even care to see it. You know, once it hits a certain amount, Instagram will say, oh, you know, you have 15,000 views. Okay, cool. That's great. Awesome. Let's do it again on Thursday.
Because one of your videos got like 100 or something.
Yeah, I just went viral today actually on TikTok.
What?
One of them, I think I saw one that had 1 point something million. I was like, what was she saying in that video?
I definitely see it. I definitely see it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever shared it, but I do see your video.
Yeah.
They are inspiring.
They are. And I'm excited, you know, especially when it's, you know, for me, when I do it, I always try to make it fun. Right, so I'll use these cute little analogies. You know, are you the mouse? You know, the mouse in the house, or the cat in the house, or you know, something like that to kind of get people to kind of say, "Well, what is she talking about? What she mean by that?" And then, you know, I just kind of keep it going, but just bringing that energy. And I consider myself.
Word for the day?
Do I have one today?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't have one right now. Well, I can give you a word for today.
Go ahead. In your way, though, the way you do it on your show.
Hey, y'all. No.
Hey.
If I had to give a word, which I am, I would say at the end of the day, you have to be true to yourself.
Absolutely.
No matter how hard it may be, you have to stay true to yourself, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to stay true to you like you're going to stay true to you. So it is your business to stay true to yourself.
You know, I always say this too, that life has nothing to do with age. Life is about wisdom and knowledge, you know, and as soon as you adapt and can breathe wisdom and knowledge, you know, I know some old fools, I know some young fools, but to me, without knowledge, you know, information is the biggest commodity in this country, or any country for that most, you know. People go to jail for selling information, you know.
Right.
So information is the biggest commodity, and it's just like you say, it's about knowing how to market it. You know, it's just like you say, well, my vocal and my speech and what I say is my commodity, and that's my passion, and whether I do it or not for money, I'm going to continuously do it, but it's to inspire and uplift other people. And I think that no matter, because I think that God put us all here with a purpose. And whether it's Good Morning Gwinnett, whether it's People Think About It, whether it's the Word of the Day, it's not for you. It's for you to touch somebody else's life, to make a change in somebody else's life. And that's when that passion starts to set in. That's when the purpose starts to set in. Because, like you say, then we'll start having people chasing us and us not chasing them. You know? So the thing about it is, just never get focused about the age part. Focus on the wisdom part. The wisdom is what changes people's lives. Because no matter what, whether you're the dumbest person in the world, next year you're gonna have a birthday if you live to see it. You know what I mean? But you can't get wisdom every day. You can't get it's out there, but you have to embrace it and want to accept it in order to receive it. You know, it's just like I always say, to hear something. That's why it's so keen. Like when I look at the word and digest God's word, right? God said, receive my word. He don't say listen or hear. He said receive. Because when someone speaks and you receive what they're saying, you got a whole different outlook about it. Because it went into you. But if you hear it, that's why you got 2 ears. It can go in this ear and come out that ear.
Yep.
But like they say, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth, more to hear and less to speak. So that wisdom is very important. And like you say, with the word of the day, man, like you say, you went viral. You touched a whole bunch of people's lives that day.
And what's even more important is wisdom is important, but it's what you do with that knowledge.
Right.
Because people can feed you knowledge all day long. They can share wisdom all day long. And it's up to you to take that and say, you know what? Let me see how I can make this work for me. And maybe it doesn't work for you today. Maybe the word of the day means nothing to you. There was this woman, she did like this YouTube reading. The woman, and it was old. It was probably 2 years old, right? But when she said, pick the card, I picked the card. And I'm like, oh, my God. Everything she said was about me. So I told them, you got to look at this. She's like, yeah, it didn't happen for me. I'm like, really? Look at the next one. What she said was so spot on for me. It was scary to the point where I was like, I don't even know if I want to watch her no more. Because it was that spot on. It was like I had never seen it before. And she was on YouTube. It wasn't live. It was an old video. But she's like, if you came here, you were meant to be here today. The message was, and so I listened to it like 3 more times. Her message was the same, different segments, different cards. I pull a card, I pull a rock, I did and I was like, wow. So that kind of freaked me out a little bit. But again, I shared it with Dominique. She's like, I ain't getting nothing out of that.
Right.
But that wasn't for her.
Right.
And that's the other thing too. Like, every message is not for everybody.
Right.
Exactly.
That's why they say take what resonates and leave what doesn't.
Right. It's just like when you talk to people and they say, well, I never knew that was happening. But it's just like you put out the Gwinnett newsletter every morning. And I see that you have different things going on.
You see my songs?
Yeah, I see your songs. I see you telling people what's happening in Gwinnett, what's happening in Snellville. But we so impatient in today's society. It's like, if it don't hit you that quick, I'm out of here. I'm not going to sit here and read all this what's happening. But then you're going to tell me you don't know what's happening. Oh, I ain't know that was happening because it was there, but you didn't utilize what was there, And
what I did was, in the newsletter, it's called Gwinnett Morning Spark. In the newsletter, I put quick links in there. So just in case you didn't want to read down, just click the link and it's going to take you to that section. So again, we live in a microwave society where people want everything handed to them. They want it quick. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to work about it. They just want it quick.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. And nothing happens like that.
So, I think that we talked on the passion,
so
the
Ms.
pain.
Dominique, how do you come
Wait a minute.
Oh, okay. My bad.
We talked about the passion, the pain. We talked about, what was the other one?
Purpose.
The purpose. And
profits.
The profits. The profit, money profits, not the person profit.
Prophetess.
So
I am.
So go ahead.
Dorshell had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Miss Dominique,
yes,
when
ma'am.
you out there doing the word of the day, let's just say you out in the world, and somebody pops up and says, "Oh my gosh, that's Dominique, girl! I watch you every." Can you?
I've actually had that.
And so, how did you respond? And then, did you have what did they do to you, and how did you respond?
So I was at Sugarloaf Mall, and it was a girl, and she was like, "I seen you before," and I was like, "Yeah, you probably seen me on TikTok or Instagram." And she was like, I showed her my Instagram. I showed her my TikTok first. She was like, "No, but I'm gonna follow you on there." And then I went to Instagram, and she had been following me, and she was like, "Oh my God, I be watching it." And again, it's the same energy. So she was like, "Oh my God, like you're the same, like in person."
That's good.
And I'm like, yeah, because honestly, I'm not coming no other way than Dominique. What you see is what you get. I don't have time to try to fake nobody out. Listen, hey,
that's me.
Yeah, hey, I'm here. Welcome, and that's just who I am all day, every day. So I think it's weird because I do see people out. Like I've seen people. When I used to be on TV, I would have people like, "I seen you on TV," stuff like that. So it's always fun. It's different.
And I think the space that we're in this space right here, like chances are, if people follow you, they will see you out. I was in a meeting,
okay,
right? This Indian guy came in. He's like, "I love your show," and I was like, "Hey, thank you." Had never seen him a day in my life. And I'm saying myself, I don't even do that much videos, but in the space that we're in, people will get to know you. And I give you a prime example about something. So I had a service that I was offering where it was called co-hosting. And I had a client come to me, and they wanted to co-host a show. And they picked Dominique to be the co-host for them, right? And it was a paid service. And, you know, she told us the title of the show. I'm like, okay, that's a beautiful show. You know, she told us a story about her mom being gay. And she was an older lady. So she was in her 70s. Her mom being gay. And so the title of the story was The Color of Love. So I was like, okay, that's a beautiful title. But she talked about how her mom didn't, you know, she didn't show that in front of her kids. And when she talked to Dominique called me back like, I don't think she need to do that show. And I was like, what you mean? She's like, what she said don't line up with the title of the show. So I had to go back to her, and I was like, look. And it was pretty much like almost like gay bashing. Mm-hmm. And I had to go back to her and say, look, I can't in good conscience let you do this show because you become a very public figure when you do these things. And in the space that you're trying to talk about, that's probably going to grow even quicker. And especially if you're bashing folks.
Yes.
I said, and people are crazy these days. It's not like back in 1947 when you were out there. They're not like that. They'll walk up to you on the street and slap you. And I said, I can't in good conscience let you do that because you will become a public figure. And hers is all video. It wasn't just audio like we do. Hers is all video, so they can actually see her. It's streamed live on all these platforms. So, you know, people will know you, you know, the more you put out content. And when it's video, the more you put out, you don't know who's watching. You just, and social media, you don't know who watches you on social media.
You definitely don't know.
You don't know. And then you don't know, you say something wrong to somebody, you know, they could be triggered.
Yeah.
You know, you could have these admirers out there that, you know, they stalk you. All kind of, this girl said to me one time, my nephew was here, and I had to go be interviewed on this radio show down in Atlanta. I don't really like Facebook, right? And I said I don't like Facebook because I feel like people be stalking you. That's how I feel. So I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. So he and I go to the radio station. So we go in the station. The girl invited me to be on the show. So when I get into it, and I had said to him, you know, I met on Facebook, and I was like, yeah, you know, I don't do Facebook because people be stalking you. We go into the studio, and the radio guy's back there. He's on back there, and the girl comes. He's like, hey, I'm so glad you're here. She says, I gotta be honest though, I was stalking you. And my nephew looked at me and says, because people, you don't know who's watching you. They may not ever say a word to you, but they're watching everything you do.
Right.
You know, so you just got it's a real platform, and I try to tell people like, y'all think that this is like some, you know, something. This is real media.
Right. Because like you say, you know, you never know who's watching, you never know who's looking.
You don't. I literally had somebody in my inbox today like, I love your grandfather. And I'm like, I don't know these people. You know, I don't know them. But they found me. You know, I'm talking about I've had people find me from Europe, Ireland. I mean, anywhere in the world, they are just there. And I'm like, you know, I don't post certain things, and I don't say certain things. I'm kind of, you know, kept in that way, but you know, I can't deny the last name. It is what it is. But you don't know. And I mean, for I want to say a good 2 years, this guy had been following me, and he finally decided that he wanted to say something, and was like, "Oh," he sent me the picture of the statue that they just put in Boston for him, and I'm just like, he's like, "Yeah, I just been following you the whole time," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Well, word of the day, I'll be over here tomorrow. You know,
we want to say, you know, like I said, we want to thank you guys for listening. People think about it. Keep your passion, your drive. Turn your purpose, your pain into your drive. You know, keep listening to the word of the day by Miss Dominique. Check out Miss Audrey on Good Morning Gwinnett, and give us the name of the newsletter again.
Gwinnett Morning Spark, every morning at 6 a.m.
Send her your email, and she'll send you. Send her your email, and she'll send you the Good Morning Spark. So we want to thank you guys for listening to People Think About It. You can check us out at peoplethinkaboutit.com. We on YouTube at People Think About It. Or you can reach out to us at peoplethinkaboutit@gmail.com. But we want to say once again, keep your passion as your pain as your gift as your goal. So we just want to thank you guys for listening.
You have been listening to People Think About It. Be sure to subscribe to the show and share it with your friends so that... You have been listening to People Think About It. Be sure to subscribe to the show and share it with your friends so that you never miss an episode. A new episode drops every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Thank you for listening.